I think there's definitely an argument for Eli Manning, whether his last name is Manning or not.
He's just a double. He's like, you go to Wendy's and you get like a single patty burger, right? A single patty cheeseburger. He's Joe Flacco double stack. That's all he is. He's Joe Flacco with the second ring and 1 second championship.
Okay, so let's take out Eli Manning. Okay, let's talk about Philip Rivers.
Joe Flacco be in the Hall of Fame if he had a second title?
No, probably not.
Right, that's all he is. He's just Joe Flacco with the second ring.
But we're not here to talk about Eli Manning. We're here to talk about Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers is no better than the 5th or 6th or 7th quarterback of his era. You want to put all those guys in, and including Philip?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you're including Big Ben and Eli, right?
Well, let's start with Peyton Manning because that was the dominant, one of the dominant careers of that era. Of course, there's Brady, and of course, there's Breeze. Okay.
Okay. I tend to think that. Yeah, I guess they're probably the same.
And then we're going to put in Aaron Rodgers certainly over them, and we're going to put in Ben Roethlisberger over them. So now we're already at 5 guys from that era, and that does not even include the end of the Brett Favre era.
I mean, I look at Peyton Manning as a little. Well, Brett Favre is, I think, much older.
Right, right. That's true. But, I mean, Rivers comes into the league in 2004, and Favre still has 5 years in the league left. But, okay, so let's put him in a different era. We're already talking about another five guys better than him.
Handles to get through, yeah. But I don't think you can fairly put Favre and Rodgers in the, that's the delineation right there. I mean, right? Like that to me is the obvious difference.
Okay, all right. So pick one of the two. We're still talking about 5 guys better than Philip Rivers, even if you don't include Eli Manning.
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem putting five great quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. Like you're putting it.
Now we're talking about 6 and 7 because if you're going to put in Philip Rivers, you got to put in Eli Manning. So now we're talking about 7 guys from the same era. You got to keep somebody out.
I mean, you're talking about an era of 20 years. It's a pretty big era. It's not like this is like.
Oh, by the way, we got Kurt Warner in there as well.
That doesn't feel like the same. I feel like Peyton Manning started 6 years before. He was drafted 6 years before Rivers and Eli and Ben. I mean, literally, he's the older brother of one of the other guys we're talking about. I don't put him in the same. But they
cross over. But they cross over Philip Rivers' career. The career's been 15 years long. We have all of these guys that have been better than Philip Rivers during the peak of his career.
I mean, Philip Rivers went to Peyton Manning's passing academy, so I just don't. I don't put him in the. I don't put him in the same generation. He was drafted with Peyton Manning's little brother.
All right, can he play in a Super Bowl before we put him in the freaking Hall of Fame?
That'd be great, but you know what? Bill Belichick took all the Super Bowls, and Tom Brady took all the Super Bowls, and there's none left. Yeah, look, I get it, Philip. Look, I understand why people nitpick it, or people pull apart of his career. I mean, that's the job when we're talking about Hall of Fame analysts. I mean, I think it is a little weird, all he would need is the Super Bowl, right? And he was real close a couple of times and ran into a bunch of good. He's dealt with a bunch of bad personnel decisions. He's dealt with a bunch of bad coaching moves. He's dealt with a ton of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick at their prime. And the AFC was loaded.
So you don't put any of the Chargers' failures in the playoffs on Philip Rivers?
No, of course I do. I've been blitzkrieging for the interception last night. I mean, he throws back-breaking picks. That's what he does.
So doesn't that have to factor into whether or not he's considered one of the greatest of all time?
Yeah, but when you look at the people, I think he meets the criteria to be in the Hall of Fame. I think it is severely shortchanging a guy with his credentials over the course of his career to suggest that he is not a Hall of Fame candidate.